Professional YouTuber vlog, day 254. So we had the neuropsych evaluation for Lexa today, which, Lex, how you feeling? Yeah, she's pretty burnt. If you guys haven't had a full-on neuropsych evaluation, it's really intense. She's getting one because she's, her therapist has long suspected autism, and she's been struggling. So they're doing a whole thing to diagnose her and figure out exactly what her strengths and weaknesses are and stuff. And it's a pretty cool process, but really exhausting. There's like an hour-long, just chatting and taking the history, like past and present, what's going on, and then lots of testing, like just so many tests, and some of them were fun and some of them were really stressful, but just cognitive tests to see what her strengths and weaknesses are there. But we'll get results on that in a few weeks. We'll keep you guys posted because it's kind of an interesting process, and it's interesting to see like what they measure and how that turns out. But the coolest thing happened while I was there supporting. I was in the waiting room and I was talking to this girl and, or this woman, and found out she's a brain. But even before that, she's like, I'm really big in Europe. And I was like, for what? It was a random conversation. And she's like, I balance rocks. And I was like, what? And she showed me. And she does these really cool, you guys might have seen these kinds of things, but she does these things where she balances rocks in really precarious positions. Some of them are really big, and some of them are, just a bunch of rocks stacked on top of each other in really impossible looking ways. And so I was like, how do you do it? And she started to explain. And I was like, do you have to, do you ever start to do it and go, oh, these rocks aren't going to balance? And she's like, no, you can always balance them. It's just a matter of figuring out how. And I was like, that's so cool. And she was talking about how meditative it is and stuff. And I was like, yeah, like active forms of meditation can sometimes be really helpful, because sometimes meditation is really hard for people with ADHD. I think we can do it, but sometimes having, like doing walking meditation or balancing rocks or I had a friend who tended bonsai trees. Bonsai, is that how you pronounce it? I think so. But there's a lot of ways to practice mindfulness and meditation, or meditative activities that aren't actually meditation. So I thought this would be a really cool thing to put on the channel. So I asked her if she'd be willing to do it, and she said yes. So I think I'm going to go out to her house and go learn how to balance rocks, just because I think it's a really cool alternative way to meditate. And she's a brain, and just talked to her about how she got into this and why she's being flown to Europe to balance rocks. Now, it's just a really cool story, really cool thing to learn, and I'm actually excited to learn how to balance rocks. And I think that knowing how that works would be really cool. So yeah, that's the plan, and that's that's day 254.